Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow.
And I'm Catherine Haleko.
As parents and parenting writers, we can't help but see everything through a parenting lens. But as our kids have become adults, we find ourselves more interested in getting caught up on movies and streaming than on going over the same parenting topics over and over.
So since we're pretty sure we can find parenting wisdom anywhere, we're going to talk about what we're watching, what we thought about it, and maybe what we can learn from it, if only what not to do. Watch and listen along, and let's all make like we're doing something important for our families. Each Tuesday, we bring you our thoughts on a newer entertainment property, and for this week of July 29th, we're continuing with A Gentleman in Moscow, a limited series on Paramount+. This one was called Good Times. How good were the times?
Well, it was a long time.
Yes.
So some of them were good.
Right. We had a romance in the kitchen.
Yes.
Which was sweet, especially with this son, observing as this went down.
Yeah. That was very sweet and unexpected. And would we ever had any hints or mentions of that previous to this episode?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
This episode encompassed 10 years, right?
It was quite a lot of time, yes.
Yeah, So plenty of time. But he could have started at the beginning of the 10 years and he would have had his nerve up by the end of them, so.
Right. Yes. Something like that, so.
Yeah, well, by the end of the 10 years, they had a kid, so. It's 6 years or, I don't know.
No, they didn't have a kid. That was her son from before.
No, but I think she was holding a...
Oh, right. Yes, at the very end. Then there was a baby.
Very end. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Or a toddler. Correct.
The older, her son, her pre-existing son, looked on.
Right.
From the kitchen.
Yes.
Not the only child introduced into this story.
Yes, I was waiting for little
goodness.
Sophia to show up.
Oh my goodness. Happy to meet you, Sophia, but so sad about the circumstances.
Yes.
Yikes. That took a turn.
Yes.
I mean, that could have been anticipated, but still was especially heartbreaking.
I mean, I anticipated it because I read the book.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know that... did you feel like you had hints that was coming?
Well, I mean, you knew she was going to this place that, is it Misha?
Yeah.
That Misha then said is not a good place. Mm-hmm. And why. So you kind of figure she's going to get a rude awakening, but I didn't think about it that far ahead. That
right.
She would have married and had a child and be, basically coming to the hotel to say goodbye to the Count before she went and died. Mm-hmm. Is what it seems like. So... I didn't know what was going to come of that, but I didn't have real good feelings about it even before Misha told his story. Mm-hmm. When she's just me and my comrades gonna go to the farms. It'll be great.
Yes.
As we discussed in past, I think last week. Oh, sweetie, you are so young.
Yes.
And so impressionable to really bad ideas.
Right.
Who would have thought that if you kick all the farmers off the farms, that might be trouble growing food?
Yeah, these are the good times. No one has
still
any
good time.
food.
They made sure to say that in the hotel,
right,
people still had food.
Right.
In the hotel, everything was good as long as you didn't cross anybody.
Right.
Which, good luck with that.
Yes, exactly.
Even if you are an American newspaper person, you know what information to receive and not to receive, even in an elevator. Yikes.
That was unfortunate.
That really was. And not good times by the end there. The contrast in terms of his enjailment, he seems to be coping fine. Mm-hmm. He's become a waiter,
yes,
which is hilarious.
Right.
But that's where all his friends are anyway, so why not?
Yeah. And in the book, I feel like he made a lot more use of his secret room. Although in this episode, we had Misha hiding in there, so that was important. But I felt like he was always in there and having parties and, just the whole, But also
I
in the
didn't get
book,
any of that fun stuff.
in the book, it did make it seem like his main, his initial room was very teeny.
Yes.
Far smaller than what they've got here. So, and
they got to fit a camera in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how they'll do this, but in the book, I mean, who knows if this is a spoiler for what's coming, but it's not important. In the book, there was so little room that he elevated his bed somehow with, books or something to lift it off the ground. And he put Sophia in the bed and he slept on the floor under the bed.
Oh my gosh.
He made like bunk beds for them.
Yeah. I thought maybe he would put her in the little hidden room since, I don't know, is she supposed to be there?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So
yes, we will.
So yeah, we'll see how they handle that in this.
Yeah.
But
whew, that's, after all the tragic things you saw coming, like, Misha wasn't going to be long for the show. That I didn't see that quite coming in that detail of there being a new little child there for him to, grandparent at this point, I guess.
Right. Yes.
She looks like she's WTF is going on here.
Yeah, she's pretty shocked or pretty just,
traumatized.
Yes, exactly.
Because I imagine things haven't been so great for her either.
No.
Her dad got arrested and
yeah.
It is a real, I mean, even though good times, but there is a certain amount of shelter and remove in the hotel.
Right.
That you're not seeing this stuff firsthand. It's happening. You're being told about it. But your little world, when somebody's not threatening your friends with death.
Right.
If you don't spy on other people and all that. But still, comparatively, good times.
Right. And then there's the whole, camaraderie among the,
yes,
I use the word comrade, among the staff. And,
yes,
they're not so far, ratting each other out and turning on each other in the way that.
Although the one guy got pulled out in a way that did not suggest he was going to be coming back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
They have it too good.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true.
So to speak. But it was, I am glad that after that original scene of Nina coming back with her friends and being, the Nina, same Nina as at the end of the previous.
Yeah.
Humorless and not lovable.
Right.
That she came back and was so sweet and so much showing signs of her old self.
Right. And
that a lovely little time with him.
That scene when they were up on the roof and
yes,
she just lays her head on his shoulder and then very, very sweet.
That was lovely. And it was such a father-daughter moment between them.
Right.
He says to her, the importance of good posture and manners is timeless. Right. We must also refrain from rolling our eyes. All those who have said that to children of a certain age, raise your hand. Yes. And she says we must respect our gray-haired elders.
Yes.
Dang right, sweetie. And don't you forget it. Oh, and then he says the heart must always be a priority, which may be not such good advice as it turns out, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard in a situation where things are perilous and probably never going to be right.
Yeah.
To still, buck up a young person and, you want them to remember the things that are important. But at the same time, remembering the things that are important can be costly, as they turned out to be for Misha.
Right.
And yet you can't really just let them go. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult shepherding kids or even oneself through that sort of time.
Right.
Which, to some degree, has resonance today.
Yes.
And probably any time.
Right.
I was amused that at some point his jailer, Osip, right? Said the classic line, which Brian Grubb, who's a writer we both enjoy, often makes jokes about, is the line, "We're not so different, you."
Yes.
Yeah. We got to see him with his family and
his own surly teen.
That's right. Poppet. Yeah. And his disapproving wife.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you bring work to the table here?
Right.
Even though, work is life right at this particular period in history. Yeah. So we are meant clearly to have a little sympathy for that dude.
Right.
Even though he is sometimes quite unsympathetic.
Right.
Even the bad guys have children who don't listen to them.
Who don't appreciate getting a birthday cake in a hotel.
Right. And wives who disapprove.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, she was a little icy. So it's interesting where it will go from here. Probably nowhere good, but perhaps with little bits of happiness in there.
Yeah, well, now we have another little kid.
That's right.
Too.
I bet she would enjoy bread with honey up on the roof.
She probably is going to have to if she wants to eat.
Yep.
I'm going to guess.
Probably can't go to the dining room. We'll see. So you said this encompasses 40 years in all?
That's kind of just a stab. That's a guess. I'm not.
I think we've gotten 10 at this point. Maybe more.
Probably more, because maybe more like 15.
I think it was 6,000 some days at the end. So it must have been 10 at the beginning. And then it went up by that. Anyway.
Right.
Time, it be moving along.
It be moving along, yeah. I mean, we've seen Emil and Marina, the chef, and Marina, that, have a whole relationship and a kid. And that kid was like...
He's not a babe in arms.
Right. Yeah. That kid was like 2 or 3. So, yeah, I'd say maybe it was around 10 at the beginning of the episode and 15 by the end or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a 6-year jump at the end.
Yeah.
So, well, good for them. Happy to be spared all the individual indignities of those 6 years and just get them as a lump.
Right.
But,
yeah. There's a lot more to go. I mean,
I know. That's what I was at the end of this, after they took that big leap, I said, there's still 4 more episodes. We're like only halfway done.
Yeah, well, there's some big stories still to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
So
doesn't sound like the actress's career is going to be going anywhere good. So going to have been going. So I wonder if we'll see her again, probably in less posh circumstances.
We'll see.
She seems like kind of a survivor.
Yes, she does.
So
good for you, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
That's right. I like the brown hair instead of the blonde. I think it suits her. We got a little bit more backstory on what happened with the Count's sister.
That's right.
There was a whole guy killed in a duel that we didn't know about. So it wasn't just that he sent Misha away and then she killed herself. It was she then got involved with a bad dude who the Count had to kill, is what it seems.
Yes.
There were appeared to be 2 actors there, one shooting the other, and they both looked identical to me. So,
yeah, and they were extremely blurry and made it very difficult for you to believe.
I'm sure one of those dudes is the Count, and the other one is the boyfriend,
right? Who abused her in some way. I mean, she was like beaten up. So
right. So more to come on that, I imagine.
Yes.
But not from conversations with Misha, I suspect.
Right.
Could be wrong. Didn't think he'd be coming back from being taken outside, but you never know.
Right.
And and I also enjoyed at one point Misha said, "Where does it end? If everyone accepts the lies and only thinks of themselves, what kind of world are we left with? Lies upon lies until the truth ceases to exist." And that is something you need to teach to your children is very difficult, especially in a time when everybody is accepting the lies and only thinking of themselves. How do you teach them good values and, if it's going to harm them? So, yikes.
Right.
Fortunately, it was only that time when this happened and never again.
Never
Had
again.
to wrestle with that particular issue. So, shoo! So what is the title of the next one? Can we anticipate from it whether the times will be good or bad or indifferent?
So next Tuesday, we'll talk about episode 5, and it is called An Arrival.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if that's more referring to the arrival of Sophia, the little girl that really happened at the end of this episode that we just watched, or if there's some other stuff happening. We'll see. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for a discussion of the 2004 series Lost. Speaking of time moving in irregular ways.
Yes. Thank you for listening. You can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com.
You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamatude, where you can find links to a lot of the things we've talked about over the years.